Hi, I'm a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Would you want to come to church on Sunday?
No, I'm Jewish.
All right. Have a good day.
I appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Man, I really hope I got it right. I hope I was able to put that beginning onto this, because if not, it will be terrible. But this is what happens when I have to do it myself and go at it alone. I'm going at it alone because Tuesday, Steven had his baby. Steven is now a baby daddy. That's right. Steven's a baby daddy. I think, right? Because he's a daddy now of a baby. So that makes him a baby daddy. So congratulations to Steven and his wife on the little baby bundle of joy that is named. Are you guys ready for the name? Should I give you the name? Should I give you? Well, I'll get to that in a minute. But if that pre-roll worked properly, then you heard the audio that happened at my door. When the doorbell rang. If not, I'll just explain it again. Basically, a Church of Latter-day Saint person showed up to my door. What are they, Mormons, right? Yeah, Church of Latter-day Saints showed up to my door, rang my doorbell, and said, "Would you like to come to church on Sunday?" And I was like, "I'm Jewish." But I was nice. I didn't want to be, it's like I had the idea that I didn't want to be nice, like, leave me alone. Why are you doing this? And then I was like, he's some kid that shouldn't be in this neighborhood and might get shot. And I could warn him also. But I'm not a big fan of pushing religion. You can be your religion. That's all well and good. But you shouldn't be going door to door selling your religion, in my opinion. And anyway, I'm not a fan of that. So I said no. So anyway, back to Steven. He's not here. It happened again. It happened on Tuesday. For anybody that was following the saga, that was Steven's baby flipping around 73 times. The baby continued to flip. Then it flipped back, and it was in the right direction. Then it was the wrong direction. Then it was the right direction. Then it was the wrong direction. And they finally decided to take the baby out with a C-section, and that's what they did on Tuesday. And everybody is healthy, and everybody has 10 fingers and 10 toes. I actually didn't ask if that's the case, but I did ask what the name was. Oh, and I didn't get a chance to get anybody else. I tried to reach out to a few people. Unfortunately, the one person I wanted to have on was extremely busy and unable to come on. I will get them on one day because it's going to be a very good podcast between the two of us. It's going to be a good discussion about the business of YouTube and the world of YouTube, because they're one of the biggest in our field on the YouTube or in the YouTube world, and they would be great to have on. So a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're going to give you Steven's baby's name in a second, talk about FOMO, talk about sticking to your gut, talk about using that Fuji camera again at the baseball game and what I did different this time around, talk about going and photographing Bryce Harper hitting his 300th home run from a different area than anybody else was at. And of course, Sony came out with two new cameras, the A7C II and the A7CR, which we put out previews of both of them that you can check out over on the website or over on YouTube at this point, because you can go ahead and do that. Oh, should we talk about a dating app thing? We'll talk about a dating app thing, but I'll do that after I tell you Steven's baby's name. I was waiting. Oh, I can't tell you what I got Steven, because I was waiting for the name to get what I wanted to get, so I had to get the name. And okay, fine, we'll do the name. I'm not going to save it for Steven. He didn't say don't say the name, so let's do it. Drum roll, Jared. Drum roll. That's a drum roll. It's a really bad drum roll. And the name of Steven's baby is Letitia. Welcome to the world, Letitia Eckert. Letitia LaFwanda Eckert is in the house. Spelled Latita. Littia. That is not the name of the baby. If you didn't already guess, it's not Letitia. They named the baby Hannah Maisie Eckert. I'm not sure what it all means, but we'll have to get it from the horse's mouth when the horse is back. And by horse, I mean Steven. I don't know when he's back. People always say, how much time are you giving him off? And it's just when he's ready to come back, he'll come back. And I don't know when that's going to be, but I haven't reached out to him after he told us that he had the baby, and I congratulated him and did all that stuff. But I I'm letting him be, because that's what we need to do. Just let him be. And when he's ready to come back, he said he might try to be on next week. We'll see. But in this case, he's not on, and you get me and only me to listen to. And I hope you don't mind that. I mean, I like the interaction between Steven and I and someone else being on. But for now, it's just going to be me talking about whatever I usually talk about. All right, let's talk about sticking to your gut. Because this past week leading up to it, I had major FOMO. And I do get that a lot, and you guys know that because I've talked about it before. But this time it was FOMO about the Sony event. Sony does this thing called Kondo every year where they bring in a bunch of creators and they let them play with cameras and lenses, and they put together all these different photo shoots, and they do it in a cool place. This time it was done in Snowbird, Utah, and I almost said Sunburst Cookies. Anyway, in Sunbird, Utah, and they asked me a long time ago if I wanted to go, and I said no. That was going to be around the time Steven was having a baby. Plus, there's no reason to go if we've already had the camera that they were going to play with. We already had the Sony A7C II and the A7CR where we were doing our preview of it and testing it. So what would I do out there? And they get like 200 or 250 influencers, not all in the YouTube sphere. I know iJustine and her sister go, and Manny Ortiz went, and a bunch of other people. Irina Rudnick, she went. But then there's a lot of non-photographers that they get now, the TikTokers, and they're so excited to play with cameras. But and then when I started to see videos coming out of there, I'm like, thank God I didn't go and give into my FOMO, because my gut instinct is don't go on this trip, because I will be miserable. And the reason I would be miserable is, one, there's very few real photographers. Most people there are not real photographers. They're influencers, so they don't know what the hell they're doing. And two, the other thing is they set up these really great sets and get models, but that's just such a boring thing to shoot for me. Not for everybody. I'm saying just for me. I want to clarify that it's me that would be bored out of my mind shooting that. I need photojournalistic stuff to shoot. That's what I enjoy. That's what gets me going. That's what I love, the challenge of shooting something I haven't shot before. And so that's why I'm happy I didn't end up going. Part of the reason I had FOMO is, well, I was scheduled to go to the Phillies on Monday, the Phillies on Wednesday, because Shohei Ohtani was in town, and then Ohtani got hurt and he wasn't going to be pitching, and I didn't know if he was going to be playing. He ended up playing, so that was good. Then it looked like Tuesday it was supposed to rain, and my brother, my dad, and I and two other people were going to the U.S. Open to watch the first round matches, and it looked like it was going to rain. It didn't actually rain. It turned out to be a great day in the high 70s and overcast mostly, and it was a really good time to go out there and just hang out and get recognized by people, which is always nice, but more so see tennis up close and personal, not go into the stadiums. We don't pay for a ticket to go into the stadium because it doesn't make sense for us. One, I'm blind, and it's just so much better to see the outside courts and watch the women or men play out there. It's just a more enjoyable experience in my book to go and watch them. So I didn't get FOMO there. And let me tell you about last night. My friend, she's in a running group, and then they like to go somewhere to eat after their run, and I was going to go meet up with them, and they never do a good job of deciding where to go until after. So they ended up going to a place in University City, some burger joint, which is more like a college shitty bar, and I meet them over there, and I'm looking for dinner, right? And so I know their menu sucks already because I looked at it, but I'm like, but there's going to be people and I should go. But after looking at the menu, I'm like, there's no way this food is going to be good. There's zero chance of this food being good. But I went against my gut and was like, I want to go be around these people, so I'm going to go do it. So we order the burgers. They come. My friend takes a bite. I look at her. I'm like, so what do you how's the burger? She's just like hesitated. And it was more like, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Which means it sucks. So I took one bite and I'm like, I can't eat this shit. I went to the bar, got my bill, paid my bill, and I left everybody. I just like, I got to go. Because I knew where I wanted to go eat. I went there and ate a proper meal. I'm not going to suffer. I just think people are so afraid to say that something isn't good out of fear of hurting someone's feelings. And I didn't sit there. I didn't say anything about the food to the waitress, the bartender. I didn't. I just asked for my bill, paid it, left a tip, and left, and told my friends I'm going to go eat somewhere else. And I did. I didn't make a big deal out of the food sucking, but it really fucking sucked. And that I just don't know why people are okay with garbage. And then anyway, that's a totally different story altogether. So one of the reasons that I ended up being happier that I stayed and didn't end up going is Monday I took the Fuji again, the Fuji the Fuji GFX 100S to the Phillies game with the intention of doing something different, right? I already had a shoot under my belt. Sunday I shot some runners doing the Philly 10K, and those pictures sucked because the camera cannot focus worth a dick on moving subjects. It really is very difficult to do that, especially with the f2 lenses or the 1.7 lenses. f4 is a little different. You can do that a little easier, but I took it out to the Phillies, and because Shohei was in town, and I started in the outside third base, because in the first 2 innings you can't sit inside in the inside third base. Then no one was in there, so I decided to sit there, and I decided to put on the 80 millimeter lens. I think it's an 80 millimeter f2, and that's roughly a 64 millimeter equivalent to 35 millimeter, and it was a really perfect range for getting the batter at home plate and framing up the light stanchion in the outfield perfectly. And it was a great place to sit. But when you're sitting in this area, you're on a regular chair, so you're not getting an epic low angle. You're at chest height, which is not a great place to be when you want to make somebody look more extreme. So what did I do? I actually sat on the ground near the batting circle, the batting circle? What is it called? On deck circle, and got the camera, flipped the screen out, put it down as low as I could do it, tilted it back a little bit, tried to keep my line straight, which I did, and shot that way. And you can shoot 5 frames a second. But what I did is I locked the focus on single focus because I knew it wasn't going to shift. I didn't want it to shift. I wanted to lock on the subject using a fine point, which I'll put out a vlog about this at some point because I did record my EVF, so you'll be able to see all this. And I was able to get those 5 frames a second, and I got this amazing picture of Bryce Harper hitting his 298th home run. And the sky is purple-orange, right? So it's purpley orange. You can see his follow through. You can see the ball in the distance. And it's just the light stanchion, just the way I was able to compose it. I love it. I posted that photo. It's fantastic. The colors are great. I can't wait to print it over here on the printer, the Canon Pro 1000, which I finally hooked back up today because I'm going to be giving away some messy prints when that vlog comes out. One way to get them, I'm going to give away 10 prints, 5 during 5 to people that own FroPack 4, whether they buy it now or they already own it, and 5 to people who end up leaving a comment on that video. So that's what I'm going to end up doing. I didn't want to do like sign up for my email list or get on the cell phone thing to blah, blah, blah. What is going on here? Sorry, I was getting text messages, and then I realized like Steven won't be editing this so that I can't leave too many pregnant pauses because I don't know how to edit audio. I mean, I do. You could just cut shit, but I'm no good at doing it. It's actually not that easy in Audition to do. But anyway, really happy with that photo I got of Bryce Harper. Can't wait to print it out here. It looked awesome. That was 298th home run. It's a great angle to shoot from, and I feel like I've figured out a lot of the quirks from this camera, the GFX 100S. One thing is you can't be afraid of ISO with this camera because it's a larger sensor. So it's the opposite of having a crop sensor because you're larger than full frame, which means higher ISOs are still going to be super clean. The files look tremendous off of that camera. So I'm really happy with how the quality of the files, that I'm totally happy with. I'm making a note because I got to contact Fuji. Maybe they'll take me to Sweden for their event that's coming up that I heard about. So yeah, I think they're doing it in Sweden. I think they announced that. I don't know, but I'd love to go. So maybe they'll think about me and be like, okay, you said good things about our camera other than the autofocus sucks. Maybe we'll invite you to Sweden to meet everybody. Whatever. Tuesday went to the U.S. Open. Did not have a photo credential for that. I spent the last 2 months talking with the right people about getting a photo credential, and it seemed like it was going well, and they ended up denying me and saying I wasn't a news organization. And I don't want to go too deep into this because I don't want to piss anybody off, but I am absolutely 100% a news organization. I cover everything and anything and reach more people than a lot of the news organizations that go to these events. So what I wanted to do there, and this is what I pitched them, I want to do a vlog about what it's like to photograph the US Open. I will go to the Nikon, Canon, Sony rooms where they have all of the gear, and I will showcase the gear. I will then go to all the different shooting areas and different angles to show people where you can shoot from. And then, of course, I'll shoot photos and then show people what they look like. And the one I wanted to do was shoot down low on Arthur Ashe underneath the court in the back. You always see those openings where a ball can go through. They're little caves down there, and you can shoot from there. And being that everything is silent these days, it's much easier to do. But you want to get unique photos, you have to get access and shoot in those areas. I could have brought a camera as just a bystander, but I didn't want to risk them being like, no, you can't bring that in, even though people had real cameras in there. I saw someone had like a 5D Mark IV, was not Stevens, his is still for sale. But I didn't get a pass this time around. Maybe they'll clear me in the future. Probably not at this point, but it was at least worth trying to make a vlog out of it. So that was Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Bryce Harper, because on Tuesday he had his 299th home run. He was going for his 300th home run on Wednesday. And I didn't want to go with the mentality of getting the same photo over and over. Just the day before, or 2 days before on Monday, I got that awesome home run shot, low angle, with the purple sky that's beautiful. Why would I try and replicate the same thing for his 300th? I already got it for his 298th, and you're not going to replicate it because it was a day game that started at 105. And the day before, or when he hit his 299th, Miles Kennedy, the Phillies photographer, so happened to be all the way out in the outfield doing something when Harper came up, and he banged out an awesome photo. Now, he only had a 400 millimeter, and he did it from right center field. And from right center field, you get this look at the plate where you get the ball coming out, you get the swing, but you need a bigger lens. So my idea was to bring, and I made a vlog that's not going to be out yet, but soon, to go with a 600 millimeter lens. I have a 600 millimeter f4 version 2 IS from Canon. I used the adapter, put it to the R3, went out to the outfield in the hopes that Bryce Harper gets, 4 at bats, and at some point he gets a home run, and then I get a shot from out there. I think an 800 probably would have been better. I think a 1200 might have worked as well. It would have been, a 1200 is like an F8 and an 800 is a 5.6, but it would have gotten me a little closer. You can look on Instagram at Jared Polin, JaredPolin, and you will see the photos that I got. Instagram does them no justice. They really need to be seen on the screen big because bigger is obviously better. I just keep yawning. Why do I keep yawning? I want to ride my bike. It's a beautiful day, so I may go do that after this. Where I distracted myself. Oh, so I'm in the outfield, and I do think an 800 would have been better, or a 1200 to get a tighter shot, but it is what it is. You need to see these pictures larger on a computer screen or in person, more so than just looking at it on Instagram, because it makes a bigger impression. And Bryce came up each time. He walked his what might have been his last time in the 6th or 7th inning. He walked and didn't know if he would get up again before the 9th, and the Phillies were winning at the time, and they went down. They went up 7-6. Then they went down 9-7 or something. And oh no, I don't know what it was. Whatever. They were down a run, and Harper comes up in the 8th inning with 2 outs and a couple of men on, I think, or maybe no one was on. I don't remember if anybody was on. I know Turner hit a home run a little while before. And, Turner hit a home run, I believe, a couple innings prior to take the lead. Then the Phillies were down. Harper comes up. I'm in the outfield. I'm ready. I've got my Insta360 Go camera on my head recording because I want to get reaction and I want to have another piece of B-roll that would look awesome. And I believe there's 2 strikes. I'm in the right area. I've got it perfectly where I need it to be. Oh, and by the way, I turned off eye detect, or I went into single point focus because I wanted to lock in on the batter from so far away that it didn't accidentally find the face of the umpire, which it kept doing even from 500 plus feet away. Because you figure home plate to the fence around there is about 383 feet. And then you figure I'm another 100 plus feet away all the way back there in section 2 something or other, 204. I don't even know what section I was in, but it was a good spot to be. And Bryce hits a long fly, right? I'm watching him the whole time because I'm locked off on him. He swings. I start shooting earlier than I normally do. I'm anticipating because I don't want to miss. And with the Fuji, which I'm not using, I realize that it's such a delay between the time you press the shutter and you get the photo that you might miss stuff. In this case, as soon as I saw him go into like some kind of batter's stance and I knew the pitch was coming, I started banging out those 30 frames a second. I'm banging out the 30 frames. He swings. He pops it. It goes far. He's looking. He's watching. I'm still shooting pictures. He starts to go up the first baseline, still holding his bat, and it goes for a home run. His 300th home run. And it was the 8th inning with 2 outs. I didn't think it was going to happen, and I ended up getting it. I got the shot. I got him jumping at first base before first base, but it got blocked a little bit by someone who stood up to cheer. That's okay. They're there to cheer. At least I got the hit clean. That was great. The only thing I didn't stick around for that I probably should have is waited for the curtain call, where that's the guy comes out of the dugout and waves to the crowd because they keep yelling so much that he did something so good. I didn't wait for that, but that's okay. I was super far away. It would have just been not as good. But what I got with the hit was exactly what I was going for. Nobody else will have the same shot that I had because everybody else was shooting from first base, third base, or inside third base, or inside first base to get the shot. Miles got his shot with the bat right off the ball. That's great. This guy, Mitch, he got his shots, and I got my shots from out there because I knew nobody else would be out there. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to take a chance. I wanted to do something different. I didn't want the same thing that everybody might get. And it's possible that it wasn't going to pay off until it paid off. It's kind of like the impossible shot, but it did pay off. It paid off because I got the shot, and I'm going to make a cool video out of it because you can see my excitement when I go, fuck yeah, right? After I got it, because it happens. And you got to be locked in. You can't be a fan. You can't get excited before because then you can't keep your heart in check. You got to keep your heart from beating too much. You got to be relaxed. It's like shooting a gun, which I don't know anything about. You just have to stay calm, and then you shoot. You pull the trigger, and you just get into the moment. The other thing that was tough to contend with was the wind. Man, the wind was blowing a shit ton up there. It was like a wind tunnel. So I had to contend with keeping my composition the way I needed it while fighting the wind that was blowing up there. But really happy that I got the shot. I know nobody else has it. And if the Phillies people need it, they'll ask me for it. But I doubt they will, but I would be more than happy to send it because that's what I like doing, giving the gift of photography, because I can't sell these. I'll never sell these images. They're baseball images. At least I can't say never, but I'm not supposed to sell them, and I won't sell them to individuals who ask for them, and I don't sell them to anybody. I just give them away. You know that. I give away prints. That's what I like doing. That makes me feel good. So that's one of the things I like the most. But I'm really happy that I didn't go and give in to the FOMO to the Sony trip. It was too late by the time I was like, I should go. But thankfully I didn't. I really need to stick to my gut. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't deviate and try things. Like I went to that dinner last night that ended up sucking, so I left and went to Silk City and had dinner myself. I'm not going to waste a meal. I'm just not wasting a meal. I mean, and then I'm watching Band of Brothers again on HBO, and I'm sitting there going, here I am, rocking like a hurricane. Here I am worrying about my dinner being shit, and these guys in World War II were probably just scrounging by on whatever they could get or whatever their MREs were, eating some shitty meal just for sustenance. And I can do what I need to do. There's no doubt in my mind that if I needed to do something different, I could absolutely do it. It's just I don't want to do it right now. So you can do whatever you need to do. I know that I could do whatever I needed to do, but I wanted to not have a shitty meal. So, yeah, I'm glad I didn't go because a lot of good stuff happened here. I got great images just by putting myself there in the situations, trying something, challenging myself, and I got the shots. I love that Bryce Harper shot, the 298, and of course, 300th home run is a different ball game altogether. So I'm happy that I got that. That's a once in a lifetime thing. I rarely say once in a lifetime, but he's not going to hit his 300th home run again. That's for sure, because you hit it once and they're not taking away home runs in baseball the last time I checked, because Barry Bonds still has all his home runs. Probably with an asterisk, but anyway, let's, what should we move on to? I did the Church of the Latter-day Saints people. Why do I talk about, before I get to the Sony, what's up with people? I really am like Craig David, not the singer, Larry David. Craig David, that was that other guy. What is up with matching with someone on a dating app, having a conversation with them for a few days, then being like, hey, would you like to meet up? And getting the reply of maybe. And I'm like, and I just asked, I'm like, okay, maybe. What is it contingent upon? And the girl was like, well, we've only been chatting for 2 days. And I'm just like, well, that's plenty for me. And I understand if that may not be plenty for you, but I think it's best to not waste each other's time. And if it's not like, yes, let's meet, then it's a no, then we shouldn't even keep chatting. And when I say let's meet, I'm talking about a public place. Maybe you meet at a coffee shop, you get some tea. It's a public place. And I get that some people need to be careful. I totally get that. But at some point, if you're on a dating app, you do have to think about you want to actually meet someone in person. And I don't think that it should be after weeks of chatting, because what if they don't look like their picture, which tends to happen quite often? What if they don't purport to be who they are, right? What if there's something off about them and you're not getting that through text? It's best to just meet people early. If you match, go connect. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at least you went and met someone and gave it a shot, and not just sat there and said, we need to text for like multiple days. And I once had someone be like, we need to at least talk on the phone 2 or more times before meeting. And I'm like, yeah, I'm out. Like, I love talking on the phone, but that's fucking stupid. And that's not why I'm single. There's probably other reasons why. But that is one of the things that I just can't stand, is something like that, where it's maybe we can meet up, but not right now. We need to text more. And to be honest, this person has asked me one question in the last 2 days, like one question. Everything I've asked a bunch of questions, gotten answers, and then no questions back. Just one. I gotten one question back. It was, do you have a big penis? That was not the question. It was about painting, because I said I got into painting, and she's like, oh, what do you like to paint? And that was it. That was it. In a multi-day conversation, no questions coming back from her. And that's kind of frustratingly annoying. So anyway, I try to date. If anybody knows any single ladies in the area that they think I might like, for some reason, let me know. Send me a text to that text line. Oh, I could pull it up right here. The text line number is 313-710-9729. 313-710-9729. Put in there big letters, I got a date for you, or something like that. And also send like a link to their photo. Send their photo, better yet, and I'd be like, yes or no. I know it's not just based off of the photo, but there needs to be some attractiveness right there, right? There needs to be some attraction into if you like someone or you don't like someone. So let's put that to rest right now. No more dating talk. Sony came out with 2 new cameras. You've probably seen my previews about it. We've got the A7C II and the A7CR. We can officially talk about it now. Steven, do you want to chime in? No, because you're not here. So you can't chime in. I know he did want to chime in about this, but duty called, literally, probably, figuratively. No, literally duty's probably calling with a baby. I hear all they do is shit, sleep, eat, shit, sleep, eat, sleep, and shit. I got it backwards. Anyway, A7C II is basically an A7 IV in a smaller body with a terrible EVF and a terrible LCD screen, because Sony's screens are terrible for some reason in their cameras. The camera works fine. I got some nice results with it. The autofocus is better than the A7 IV. That's a good thing, because the A7 IV's autofocus didn't have the updated AI processor, and this camera does. So that focus is much better than the other version. But the trade-off is it has one card slot. You can't get a grip, an actual grip that does something. So that's not good. They're just things that you have to decide, is it worth it? Can you work it? Mix it, So you have to decide if the trade-off is worth it. I saw some of the comments where people are like, if this was a Nikon with one card slot, Jared would be flipping out. And it's like, well, one, time is change. Two, you need to decide whether or not that one card slot is worth it for you. I would like to see 2 card slots no matter what. And if that means putting in a micro SD card slot or putting in internal memory, I think every camera should have 2 card slots for the just in case. It's a very rare circumstance where something actually does go wrong, but it would be nice to have 2. But the quality is interesting and the price is interesting. Right? It's like $300 less than the A7 IV. And then the A7CR is $900 less than the A7 V. And it's basically the same exact camera as the A7 V, or say A7R5. It just doesn't have 8K video and a couple of other minor things, like one stop less on the IBIS. But it's an unbelievable camera because it has Sony's best sensor that they've ever made in it, a 61 megapixel backside illuminated sensor that's fantastic in a mini body. This is what I don't understand about the Fujis and the Nikon ZFC. It's a small body that you squeeze, like that you put a crop sensor into it, but then you get something from Sony where they basically take something that takes a crop sensor and somehow squeeze in a full frame sensor. So that's the A7 II and the A7CR. And I think the R is amazing for what it offers you. What a travel camera to have the best quality possible. Sure, you're only going to get about 6 frames a second, but you can put on there that 35 to 150 E mount from Tamron. That would be a great lens on the road. You could use a 35 1.4, 50 1.2. Whatever you want to use is going to be great for travel. It's just a small, compact camera. You get used to the shitty EVF. You get used to everything, really, within reason. Like I got used to using the Fuji. And you go out and you shoot. And it's $900 less. Now, if I had to choose as a professional between an A7R5 and an A7CR, I'm taking the A7R5 because I like the body. I want to have a vertical grip that does something, meaning an extra battery goes in. It's not just a dumb grip like you can get. The A7CR comes with a grip that I showed you in the video. Now, that's $150 extra addition on the A7C2. It's kind of nice that it's included, but would that take $150 off the price even more if they didn't include that? Because then it would really put it into an interesting price point of $1,000 less. But anyway, if I was a professional using Sony and needed an A7R5, I would end up using the A7R5 over the A7CR because you could get 2 cards in the slot, 2 card slots. That's going to be better. Everything else is basically the same. I don't care about the video from these cameras, even though you saw from the desk, the video looked fantastic. Steven really likes using that camera for that. We still use the Canon R5s. We might get into shooting C-Log soon just to give us a different look or just to give us a little bit more quality. But sometimes that slows down your editing and your I'm getting tired, by the way. It slows down your workflow, but I don't think people will even notice the difference. How many of you out there just yawned because I yawned again? Yeah, so I really don't think people would actually know the difference. So, yeah, moral of the story, A7CR is very nice, $900 less than the A7R5. So that's really nice that Sony's doing this, but I'd love to see what they come up with next. Is it going to be an A1 Mark II? Is it a A9 Mark III? We don't know what they're going to do at this point, but it will be interesting to see where they end up going. I'm, for some reason, fading really fast. I don't know if that's because I'm talking so much and I need more oxygen and I'm not getting enough oxygen, but it feels like I'm ready to fall asleep at the desk. That is weird. Don't know why. Maybe because I'm doing this by myself and I feel like I need to fill every freaking hole and not have pregnant pauses and downtime because Steven isn't here to give me a rest while talking. Maybe he'll be here next week. We're not sure. But he did have his baby. We are still working on some edits over here for some other stuff. I got some vlogs in the works that Dan's editing. And for now, this is what I got. I'll try to get an interview at some point with this person that I want to get an interview with, but they are super busy. And, you know, it's hard to wrap it up, put it on the books. And I just don't want any bad people to come on that I don't like. So if there's someone I don't like, they're probably not coming on because I don't like dealing with them. But anyway, this is going to be RAWtalk 66. I apologize if you expected something longer today. I mean, that's what she said. Or you expected Steven to be back or to talk about different things. But that's what I got today. The moral of the story is don't get major FOMO. Stick to your gut, but smartly stick to your gut. If you're not happy with the results that you're getting in certain situations, don't stick with your gut and repeat the same thing, because if you repeat something, you are basically insane. Because insanity is defined as doing the same thing over and over, even though you know you shouldn't, or something like that. Just something along those lines. But, stick to your gut for certain things, but be smart about it. And deviate every once in a while, because maybe something different will happen if you need something different to happen. And that's why I try and meet up with other people. I try to randomly talk to people. I try to meet as many people as possible, because you never know who you're going to meet and if it might turn into something. Oh, and I'm going to be speaking on Wednesday at B&H Build, at their Build Expo. Maybe I'll meet a lady there. If anybody knows any ladies coming to the expo, tell them I'm single, ready to mingle. I'm always ready to mingle since day one of being shy, and meaning I wasn't actually ready to mingle. Yeah. So I'm going to leave it right there, guys. Thank you very much for listening. This is RAWtalk with just me for episode number 66. Thank you guys very much. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com. See ya.